Hi everyone, and welcome to MicTALK, the place where I spout off about some topic that I thought about during the day and jam it onto your computer screen. The last MicTALK episode was called Rush Limbaugh is Not a Scientist. This one is totally different. It's called Rush Limbaugh is Still Not a Scientist, and I hope that you enjoy it. So, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh yesterday in my ongoing effort to kill myself via moronic radio transmissions, and Rush was talking about the gorilla Harambe. Now, for those of you who don't know, Harambe was an endangered gorilla who was shot at the Cincinnati Zoo when a young boy fell into his enclosure. It's a very sad story, and I think a lot of us have very mixed feelings about it. So, Rush thought that this was the perfect opportunity to disprove evolution, because in his mind, everything is a perfect opportunity to disprove evolution, including Arbor Day and Dog Biscuit Awareness Month. So, what Rush wanted to know is, if humans are descended from apes, why are there still apes? I think that Rush may be particularly sensitive to this because Rush never did make it past the ape stage. Although actually, none of us did. Rush just happens to be the best example. But people are often still classified as apes because we share 98% of our DNA in common with gorillas and 99% in common with chimpanzees. There are 5 major forms of what are known as the great apes, and those are chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, orangutans, and humans. Oh, and we'll add a separate category for Rush. Since human beings are Homo sapiens, meaning smart man, we'll give Rush his own title. Let's go with Homo stupidus. But Rush does raise a good question. He's just arrogant enough to assume that there isn't an answer. Why are the other great apes still around if humans evolved from them? Well, first of all, because we didn't. The great apes all share a common ancestor somewhere around 10 million years ago. In other words, we all share the same great, I can't speak, grandparent. So we didn't evolve from gorillas. Gorillas and humans evolved separately, splitting off the same chain, and both evolved from another species, one other species that is no longer around. But interestingly, even if we had evolved from gorillas, it wouldn't necessarily mean that gorillas would die out. Evolution comes from accidental mutations. So let's say that I have 2 sons, and one of them is a mutant. Actually, if I had 2 sons, they'd probably both be mutants, but for right now, let's just say that one of them is normal, and one of them can fly. The fly guy is probably going to do a lot better in life because, hello, he can fly. But that doesn't mean my other kid is going to die out and not carry on the regular human family. Unless they try to kill each other, which they might, or unless one is better able to survive the changing climate. See the last episode of MicTALK for Rush's brilliant insights into that topic, or unless they're competing for the same resources. And the fly guy has some distinct advantage, like if the only food was at the top of a tree. But otherwise, they're both going to be just fine. Fly guy will go on to form his fly family, and regular guy gets to be assistant manager at Wendy's. And so long as he has his own family, there will be 2 species living hand in hand, both descended from me, their common ancestor. And a good real-life example of this are polar bears, which evolved from regular brown bears, but both are still around today. So, to recap, human beings didn't evolve from gorillas, although if we had, we could still be alive together and live in relative ape harmony, singing Kumbaya. But instead, we share a common ancestor, even though we're very different from the other apes. Except Rush.